Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the zoo. The minion with me this evening is Adam.
How's it going?
And as it's Friday, of course, I'm the keeper, Sanguine. How are you doing tonight, Adam?
I'm doing all right. It's a lazy, rainy Friday evening. Yeah.
Oh,
How you
nice.
doing, man?
I am doing grand. Hopefully, I'm not too muffled right now. Just working on the last bits of my dinner that I need to make for tonight. So I have my rice mixed with some mashed umeboshi. I have the mushroom stalks, which are just going in to be turned to mushroom broth in a pot. And then I have a thing of oil heating up so I can quickly deep fry some fish. And then I just need to
Nice.
pour out my drinks after all this is done. So, what have you been up to? Anything interesting happen today? Anything catch your fancy that you're going, what the fuck? Or did you read anything interesting that you want to talk about?
Oh shit. See, I should have written a lot of this stuff down. I did see. No, you know what? Damn it. Okay. You know what? Let me at least look up what I think I remember.
Making sure that you don't say the wrong thing, the wrong name in the wrong place, or anything like that?
Yeah, because a lot of the stuff. All right, so during the work day, usually I'll pop on something, I'll listen to like a debate or listen to somebody's live stream, and I'm like kind of think about it, I'm like, oh damn, but if I know that I should probably bring it up on a show, I usually write it down, but today I did not. But I also want to be leery as to what exactly I say and how I use it. The proper use. So I will say, holy shit! I can't believe that they used the ugly Sonic in Chippendale. Are you familiar with the movie Chippendale Rescue Rangers?
I just saw that they're doing that today. And my god, does it look bad.
Right?
Which is a bit of a kick to the nuts of my childhood because hell yeah, Chippendales Rescue Rangers. But yeah, it just did not look good, the animated version. And it wasn't. There was enough time put into the model that they made it clear it wasn't like a Who Framed Roger Rabbit where it is meant to be ridiculously toony and flat, and that's just the world that they're making is a Who Framed Roger Rabbit-esque world where you have the cartoons as they were in real life as well, which that can be done, and that can be done beautifully. Who Framed Roger Rabbit is one of my favorite movies when I was growing up because that world was so fucking cool. The cartoon characters were just able to walk around among people and you got to bullshit with them. That's awesome. But this, they put enough effort in that you're going, okay, that isn't just the old school animation walking around in the real world. But it wasn't good enough to make it seem like it actually fit. So you're just left with this, well, you aren't cartoony enough to be just the cartoon, nor are you realistic enough to seem like you actually belong in this world. Where the fuck did you come from?
Did did you see it?
Did it? the movie or the advert?
Well, the movie.
I have
Is it-
not
I-
seen the movie. I've seen the
Oh.
advert.
Because I've been seeing some of the people who are commenting on it were saying how it's um how it was pretty good. Like it wasn't something that they expected.
Mhm.
And that it I don't know. Because again, I don't know if it's another one of those Ghostbusters things where it's they threw enough nostalgia shit at the audience, and so now they're like, "Oh my god, yeah, it's just like Roger Rabbit." And it's like, well, is it, or is it? You're being fed a bunch of shit, and you're at this point you're grasping for any decent movie. So it's like, okay, yeah, this is the one. Um, I mean, I don't know. I heard some things about it. But I found out about this Sonic that they used the ugly Sonic. Um, and I did see the spoilers as to how it ended, I guess. And I think it's funny. It's funny as shit. Um,
Okay. So were they actually meaning for the Who Framed Roger Rabbit feel?
I don't know. I kind of want to see it, but at the same end, I don't want to give Disney any money.
Yeah,
I don't want to, like, because I'm not going to sign up for Disney Plus. I don't know any relatives who have Disney Plus, so um, it's one of those things where it's like, eventually I'll find it.
you'll
Eventually I'll
find a
watch it.
completely legitimate
Yeah,
version of it in other venues.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even like, because I'm planning on, I got to rent the Sonic 2 movie because I really want to see that. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it, so I want to take a look
Mhm.
at that. And apparently, yeah, the the ugly Sonic mentions that's the Paramount Sonic, and he's the one who's in the movie. I didn't get in the movie. Or something like that.
Nice.
It's like, oh shit. How did they manage to get that? And I'm interested to see that, but I'm also interested to see how people were saying it's like a Roger Rabbit type movie. And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I understand the mixture, but that means the Looney Tunes Back in Action was a Roger Rabbit type movie. Like it doesn't mean anything. Roger
Mhm.
Rabbit was a good movie because the story was fucking fantastic. The characters, or the fact that they mixed the tunes and the real world. I mean, that made it, that was like the perfect icing on the cake. But even if they used like just generic cartoons, I think it still would have worked out because the story was pretty good. I mean, it worked. It worked in and out itself, outside of just all the cameos and stuff. And I think that's where this one, it might just be relying heavily
Nostalgia
on,
bait.
yeah. And again, like Ghostbusters, and people will look past things and be like, that's okay because, oh, the proton packs, that's okay because, oh my god, the Ecto One, oh. And it's like, but down the line, you're gonna look at it in a totally different light. And what's funny is, I don't know if I probably mentioned it before. I tend to do that, but I was watching, or listening rather, to a bit called Patrice O'Neill Talks About Movies,
Mhm.
and he was talking about Independence Day, and they got into this whole bit where all the characters are pretty much just like cartoon characters or exaggerated characters of stereotype things, like
Mhm.
um and they went into the Judge Hirsch, and it was like over the top Jewish character, and it's like, I think I got his last name right, but and it was funny because like Patrice was like, oh my god, I didn't even see it until you mentioned it. And it's like, yeah, like I didn't even think about it until they started talking about it, and I'm like, holy shit, yeah, the whole movie is like just like over the top characters. I just saw the movie as just like, oh man, it's fucking action movie, fight
Mhm.
alien shit. Um,
It was just a fun sci-fi action movie.
yeah, and so I think that's what's gonna happen with these movies is people are gonna watch them years down the line and be like, holy shit, why did we like this? No, the best one though with that though is Patrice figuring out how Face Off is a bad movie.
See, that's going a step too far, in my opinion. Face Off is not a good movie, but Face Off is not a bad movie either.
You know, like they say how it's like it's Nick Cage and John Travolta just trying to overact each other.
Oh yeah, and they do it beautifully. They do it amazingly to the point where you're going, okay, I know that this is Nick Cage trying to act like John Travolta, trying to act like Nick Cage. But man, he's nailing that.
Oh, could you imagine being on set with them? They'd be so annoying. Like, oh my god. Oh,
it'd be gloriously infuriating. But you have to admit, both of them absolutely nail acting like the other person trying to act like them. It is fantastic.
Yeah. No, they did a top-notch fucking, like, I can't believe they got away with that shit.
And it's just such a silly shit movie plot that you're just going, fuck yeah, turn off my brain, let me just enjoy this shit. And there's movies that need to appeal to that. You don't always want a really well thought out movie. Sometimes you want the cheesy 80s action movie where there's no thought in your mind other than, that was cool.
Yeah.
The plot doesn't make any fucking sense. What's happening doesn't make any fucking sense. But you know Overbound Muscle Man #1 is going to kick the ever-living shit out of Overbound Muscle Man #2 who kidnapped his daughter. And that's why you watch those movies. You don't want them to be really deep and meaningful. No, you just want the goddamn spectacle. And however they get the spectacle, you're there for it.
So I never understood I understood the blowback. Oh, that was the other thing. That too was the other thing I wanted to talk about. The just I guess people are now just understanding that a lot of these companies are willing to drive themselves into the ground just to push their ideas. Yeah. What was the I'm trying to remember the because the most recent one that I just ran across was Gotham Knights.
Mm-hmm.
And that looks pretty bad. I think it was a Marvel movie. I can't remember.
Oh, did you see the abortion of a movie, The Eternals?
No, but I didn't hear anything good about it.
Yeah. It's a good thing that you didn't see it. It is god-awful from all accounts. And it's not the only one. They also kind of fucked up everything in Doctor Strange. I heard that it's a fun movie to watch, but rather than it being a movie that you can watch and actually think about, like some of the early Marvel movies were, where you're going like, yeah, this was a cool plot, and this was going on, and this was going on. I wonder where they're going to go with it. You have to go in and watch it like it's an 80s action movie. And
oh, no.
You have to be thinking, fuck the plot, fuck everything else, forget that Doctor Strange is an established character. Just enjoy the spectacle, and you have some chance of going. Now, some of those fight scenes were pretty fucking cool. But if you're putting any style of thought into it, you're immediately going, this is bullshit. And like I said, when I saw the advert for the Chip and Dale, it didn't fill me with hope, because if they were trying to go for a Who Framed Roger Rabbit, they needed to go cartoonier in the style. And if they were trying to make it serious, they needed to go less cartoony in the style. As it was, he just had this weird middle ground where it wasn't cartoony enough to make you go, this is Chip and Dale. Nor was it realistic enough for you to go, oh, this is Chip and Dale if they were in a quasi-real world.
Yeah, I don't even know what, because I don't have any idea what the plot is. I just know that I guess Dale goes into the 3D treatment, and then I don't know. There's a character that looks like Peter Pan, but he's not. But he looks like a grown-up Peter Pan type of thing. I think he's the villain.
Okay.
And then they meet Ugly Sonic, and that's his name, Ugly Sonic.
Nice.
At a convention.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I saw Wonder Woman walk by. So they even have that. I don't know, dude. The whole thing looks so fucking weird. But I mean, I don't even know who it's geared towards, you know? It's just I don't understand the decisions that these people. Well, okay. See, this is that's the other one I want to talk about. Velma. Did you see the Velma?
I did not.
Oh, really?
Did they go for hot Velma? Did they go for frumpy Velma?
Well, neither. I guess they're making it's on HBO, and it's being billed as an adult version of Velma.
Velma's gonna get her tits out and get railed?
Well, probably. Well, I don't know. So
I've
okay,
seen that adult Scooby-Doo before. It's a very different movie.
it's being made by Mindy Kaling,
Oh, is it Mindy
the girl
Kaling?
from the lady from The Office.
Are you saying Mindy Kaling?
I think that's her last name. I'm not
Brown
I'm not too
female
familiar.
comedian?
Yeah.
Comedian in quotation?
Yeah. Yeah, she's writing it, and so it has okay, so it's called Velma, and it's about a Southeast Asian lady who starts solving mysteries. I don't know if she's in high school or in college, but it does appear that she's in a school. And they say that the rest of the cast isn't in it.
Oh, they race swapped. They made a different character that's based off of Velma from the look of it.
Yeah.
That is
so you
a
looked it up.
race swap. I just looked it up to figure out how god-awful this would be.
It's really and it's so odd because it's like, dude, you pretty much just made a new character. Why didn't you? And this is the thing that hits me, is because the question would be, well, why didn't you just make a whole new show about this character who starts solving mysteries akin to Velma, like Velma, right?
Yeah, and you could even have it where she's inspired by Velma. And you can make it clear that, like, she started solving mysteries because she was a really big fan of Scooby-Doo, and she really loved Velma, and that's why she modeled her style after Velma.
Well,
Have it be an
if
entirely different character, just someone that makes it clear they're inspired by Velma.
they
Boom,
wanted
done.
to even keep it within, because I mean, even at this, they're already, you can already see them say, well, this is a different universe. Like I think they were saying Mystery Inc. was a different universe than the original Scooby-Doo stuff. I think they had a crossover or some shit. So they can, even with this, say, oh, well, it's a different universe. It's like, okay, well, if you're going that far, why not just make your own character? And again, we know why. It's because we know that chances are a lot of the stories that they're going to be putting are going to be very, very ideologue, and it's just going to be dry as shit. And
Oh, yeah.
nobody's going to fucking buy it. And see, we already see the pattern. We already know where it's going to go, because they were even saying, like, if you don't like it, don't watch it, whatever. And
It
okay,
was the
well,
sexist men that made our show fail.
yeah, nobody watches it. Oh, well, it's because Gamergate and shit. And it's like, well, what the fuck? It's like, no, if you made your own stuff, that would have been something, But
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Make your own shit, let it succeed or fail on its own merits. And if it succeeds, that's all you. You get to take credit for that because it's your own shit.
yeah,
If it fails, that's all you. You get to take the blame for it because that's your own shit. Stop trying to bastardize other things so that you can get a pre-made fan base to piss off.
yeah, it just makes no sense. Hey, could you give me 1 second? I'll be right back.
Absolutely. I'll just continue ranting on this because
Oh, by go
it
on. By all means.
just it pisses me off to no end that they just keep on doing that shit. They just keep on. Well, we don't want to make the story like the rest of this world, the rest of the universe, and like these characters would dictate the story has to be made. So instead, we're just going to say that. One moment, just got something in my throat. We're just going to say that this is in the same universe. It uses the same characters, or it is a callback to this, and it's not going to be anything associated with it. It's going to be my own shit story with my own shit politics forced into it without a goddamn ounce of respect to the source material. But if I say that it's part of this series, then I'll have people that are desperate for a continuation come and be excited and then be pissed off at me. And the thing is that by doing this, they're just garnering additional animus that they have no need to garner. If they just relied on their own shit and they made it clear it was their own shit, not associated with anything else, then yeah, they don't get a pre-made fan base. But they also don't piss off the fan base for it. They get to just put their thing out, see if it's a success, see if it's a failure. So it pisses me off every time that they do this. Every fucking time. We want to tell a Ghostbusters story, but we don't want any of the Ghostbusters in it. So we're just going to replace them all with women. No, just make your own shit. Make your own shit. Don't call it Ghostbusters. Call it something else. Don't use the visuals from Ghostbusters. Make your own goddamn visuals. And then your work can be judged on its own merit. If you don't want to tell the story of Mystery Inc., you don't want to tell the story of Scooby-Doo, then don't try to connect it to Scooby-Doo. Just make your own shit. Make your own group of people that solve mysteries. Or, like I said, if you want a character that's like Velma but isn't Velma, have it be this character was inspired by watching old school Scooby-Doo. That's how it was done a number of times with other works in the past. You wanted a hero that was like Sherlock Holmes, but was not Sherlock Holmes. How many fucking series have it where the detective was inspired by Sherlock Holmes? I mean, son of a bitch. Which one was it? It was Law and Order Criminal Intent, I want to say. Had the one detective that was inspired by Sherlock Holmes. He even mentions that when he was young, he used to read Sherlock Holmes books, and that's what made him interested in trying to become a detective. And he had a very similar way of thinking through things. They made it clear he wasn't Sherlock Holmes. He just was inspired by Sherlock Holmes. And you know what? People fucking liked that character. I don't get this need. It pisses me off because it just ruins any chance of your character being enjoyed. Because if you just try to rip it, then everyone's going to go, well, this character isn't the character that I actually loved. This character isn't the character that I was interested in. I was lied to. I was cheated. Whereas if you make it your own, you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry that someone won't like your character because they weren't this other character. Because no one looks at a character from an unrelated series and says, this character sucks because they aren't this character from this series. No one does that. They might say, well, this character was executed better than that character, but no one will hate your novel character because they aren't a character from a different work. They only have that hatred when you're saying that the works are related, so you put them in direct comparison. And then, yeah, all of the 2016 Ghostbuster bitches suck when you compare them to the actual fucking Ghostbusters. And when you compare each of their characters, because each of them is meant to be a rip of one of the main Ghostbusters from the original Ghostbusters run, and it's clear that they're supposed to be a rip from that. But, no, these are different characters. Shut your fucking mouth. They aren't. They're characters that you just wanted to abuse the franchise with.
Well, I think as odd as it sounds, as conspiratorial as it sounds, I think we do have to acknowledge that to some degree there are people who are sitting at the boards, pulling the levers of management and movement of the company, who believe in this shit and believe that this is something to push forward that's going to make them money. I mean, I know it's weird because I was watching, I think, Adam and Stitch, and they're puzzled at why would they do this? Shouldn't they be looking to maximize profits? And it's like, well, I get typically yes, but if they believe that this is going to get them profit, why wouldn't they push it?
And the problem is that it isn't the executive class that's captured for the most part. In some cases, it is the executive class that's captured. But
I think a lot of them are just willing to listen to the people the younger people who they just hired,
exactly.
and the younger people are pushing this shit.
Exactly. That's where I was going to go, because I don't think that it's the executive class that's captured by the ideology. Who it is that it started with HR.
So it's like worm tongues.
Yeah. It's a shit ton of worm tongues in HR that they don't like how things are done. They want things done how they would do things. So what the HR reps, who are now in charge of hiring, rather than each department being in charge of hiring for that department, businesses decided for some fucking reason that instead of having the managers and the people actually in the department being the ones making the decision to see whether or not someone would fit with the department or knows how to do the shit that they're trying to get them to do. Instead, it would be HR. And then maybe the departments would be able to decide after HR gets its say. But then they would have to pick from the candidates that HR chose. And HR are just a bunch of goddamn ideologues, for the most part, that they want the company to go the way that they want it to go. So in order to get it to go that way, they just hire a bunch of like-minded people.
What was the name of the fucking hunchback in who showed the Persians the secret passage from
yeah. Let me quickly look it up.
I can't remember his name, but it's that guy gets in the position of hiring, kind of like Stalin, and and then all of a sudden he just hires a whole bunch of other Freckles or whatever the fuck his name was. Ephialides. Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that's all they do is they just hire equally like-minded people, and then the executives, they're so far away from everything. They're just, as long as the money's flowing, as long as the spice flows, these Harkonnen are just floating around eating heart plugs, and then they just look at the people that they hired, and they're all these fucking, what's his name?
Ephialides.
Ephialides. Yeah, there's just a whole bunch of those guys, and they're just
Trackus.
Yeah, they're just letting everybody in.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening, which is why you have, I think it was either Facebook or Google had the whistleblower, not the main one, not James Damore, but they had another one after James Damore, who he wasn't saying like we need to do shit or we need to change how we're trying to get women into the workplace and we need to actually acknowledge science on how to get women into the workplace. No, he didn't do that, which James Damore was 100% fucking right in what he said when it came to that. This guy had an even more minor transgression. This guy went, hey, there's like 4 programmers in the entire program development office and the IT group that can actually make the system work. No one else has the ability to do a fucking thing with the code. There's like 4 or 5 of us that still know what each section of the code does. And if we keep going the way that we're going, no one's going to know how to actually write the code that we're using. No one's going to know how to fix the code that we're using. And that's a bad thing. We need to hire people that actually know how to deal with the code, who know how to write the code, who know how to fix the code if something breaks. But he got fired for the audacity of saying, maybe we should hire people that are capable. And yes, it was a goat farmer, IRL. Ephialides of Trackus was a goat farmer in the story.
Yes.
But it's just one of those things where it's, what the fuck? How does that get you fired? Going, hey, we were hired to do a job. Almost no one that was hired to do this job can actually do it. Can we hire people that can? Fuck you, you're fired.
Hey, as a quick aside, Sanguine, is it alright if I share my screen? Is it alright if I share my screen?
Sure, what are you sharing?
I'm just playing some Tetris, so just something to...
Some visual stimulation?
Yes, sir.
Rather than just the bobbing of the talking orbs?
Yee.
Copy that. Share away, and I'll click it in once you're sharing.
Let's see if this works.
Yes, if you're trying to get a Scotsman that is opinionated, you should be hiring opinionated Scotsmen.
I mean, it's the only way to go, right?
Yeah. If you're trying to be hired or if you're trying to hire for a cook for a restaurant, you hire someone who can fucking cook. That shouldn't be something that if you had the audacity to say, hey, we're running a restaurant here, can we hire cooks for the kitchen? You shouldn't be fired for saying that. But that's what happened with this goddamn whistleblower. The whistleblower came forward and said, you're hiring us to do a job. There's like 5 of us that know how to do this job out of the 100-something that you've hired. Can we get more people that know how to do the job? And they went, there's 5 of you? That's at least 1 too many, you're fired.
Wait, which whistleblower are you talking about?
Let me quickly look up which company he was, because like I said, it was either a Google or a Facebook whistleblower.
Did you see the recent Project Veritas one where the dude called Elon Musk special needs?
Yeah, called him special needs because he was a spurg.
Yeah. These people are fucking nuts, dude.
Yeah, and the thing is that
that was
when
dumb.
it comes to spurgs, we run the fucking gamut. Because there are spurgs that, yeah, you shouldn't really listen to what they say because they've just gone completely off the fucking deep end. There's other spurgs that you can listen to because their sort of spurgery is not completely debilitating.
Spurgery? Is that?
Yeah. I call it spurgery, and as a spurg, that's my spurg stamp on the spurgery.
I'm making a spurg stance, yeah.
But yeah, you have different types of spurgs. You have spurgs that are completely shut down, pulled away from community or from society because they end up not being able to function. Their discomfort just completely pushes them out of being able to function in any real respect, and they aren't able to adapt properly. Then you have other spurgs that they are still able to function in society. Some of them, you won't even fucking know that they're a spurg unless they tell you that they're a spurg. And Cryptic, do you want to link to the stream? If so, let me know. I'll toss you one.
Oh, no, Cryptic, yes.
Yeah. But you have, like I said, spurgs that are functional, and you wouldn't know that they're spurgs unless they tell you that they're a spurg. And then you have other spurgs that, yeah, they are just completely fucking lost in their own world. But to say, well, he's a spurg, so I can just ignore him. Fuck you. Especially when you're trying to pull the holier-than-thou horse shit.
Yeah, it's... I don't get that type of mentality, you know?
Yeah. Like, a good example of someone who was an absolute brilliant son of a bitch, but was functionally incapable of operating in society, is the thus far only person to have ever been dubbed the hyper savant. Have you ever heard of Kim Peek?
Can't say that I have.
So, you know the movie Rain Man?
Is that him?
Rain Man is based off of Kim Peek.
Oh shit!
Do you want to hear the most ridiculous thing? You know how all those like insane mental abilities that Rain Man had without the ability to function? He
Yeah.
could count things in a damn near instant and do the calculator spurg trick or the calculator savant trick and all that good shit. Kim Peek could do all of that. Also, Kim Peek was able, if I remember correctly, he had the split corpus callosum, which allowed him to read 2 pages at the same time because he got independent functioning of his eyes. And he had read through his entire library, which he had about a 98 to 99% retention rate of any book that he read.
Holy shit! Would the word savant be a part of this?
Like I said,
I
he
don't know why it
is
popped up
the
in my brain.
diagnosed hyper savant.
Oh, okay.
Because normally a savant will have 1, maybe 2 tricks, as some people call them. Specialties is another way of saying it.
Well,
So
like,
you have
attributes that are heightened.
Yeah, so you have calendar savants, for instance. And a calendar savant, you tell them a random date, and they'll be able to tell you exactly what day of the week that date is. Or you could say, like, the 25th Monday of this year. And they would be able to go, oh, that's this day. And it would just be an immediate response. It isn't a, hold on, let me do this calculation, because there is actually a calculation that you can run through to allow you to do that trick. But they don't do that calculation. They just immediately spit out the day. And then you have the calculator savants, sometimes just called human calculators. And they're the ones that you give them a math problem, any math problem, and they'll just solve it almost instantaneously. You give them a math problem, they think about it for like 2 seconds, boom, out comes the answer. And there have been races where it's been people using calculators, like proper accountants that use the specific type of calculator that they're doing daily in order to do their job, that will compete with a calculator spurg. And there was one that I remember that made me laugh my ass off of, because it was this ridiculously high paid accountant, and they were just given a shit ton of prices, and it was effectively given a bunch of receipts, told, okay, here, solve this. And the accountant immediately was speeding through using the specialized calculator, and the savant worked through. He answered first. The accountant went, actually, that's an incorrect answer. This is the right answer. And the spurg immediately looked at them and went, no, you multiplied by this at this step. Yours is wrong. Sure enough, when they looked at the write-out for the calculations, because the calculator that the person was using was one of those that it prints out the sheet of calculations, they had multiplied by exactly what the calculator spurg had said they had multiplied by at the exact step that he said they multiplied it by that at. And the person just went, oh, shit, good job, you won, and shook the spurg's hand. But it was just, it made me laugh, just because it was, nope, your answer's wrong, this is the right answer, your answer's wrong because of this, son of a bitch.
But it's it's just so weird that people look at them and then they want to ridicule them. It's like, well, no, it's just because they may seem odd doesn't mean that they're they're just odd.
Yeah,
Jeez,
and there's a bunch of different symptoms of
and that's not
being
negative.
a
It's just
spurg that
yeah.
some of them are more detrimental than others. So if you have
Ah,
the minor symptoms and you have a minor case of the minor symptoms, then yeah, you're pretty fucking normal. If you have the severe symptoms, then by the very nature of them being severe symptoms, yeah, you're a bit off. When they try to act like, oh no, someone has Asperger's syndrome, that means that you can't listen to a goddamn thing that they say. Well, fuck you.
yeah, isn't that what that dude said?
Yeah,
The
he
Twitter
said
guy?
that he has autism. He's special needs. He's not mentally well. And he was using it as a dismissal.
And I was like, wait, Elon Musk? Are you sure you're talking about the right person?
Yeah. And
Oh no.
again, it's one of those things. It's just a.
Why is everybody
That's
attacking me?
not what being a spurg is. I mean, shit, I'm a spurg. The number of times that I've told someone I'm a spurg and they've gone, wait, no, you aren't. No, I'm actually diagnosed. I did everything that I need in order to prove that I'm a spurg. And it becomes
I'm
a,
a
oh.
spurg.
And then every now and then I'll get someone who they notice
Fuck.
the particular spurg trait that I have, because I have a couple of the symptoms. And if they notice those, then it becomes a, oh yeah, that makes sense now. Like one of the things that I have is making eye contact is fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Yeah, eyes are wrong. I don't
Don't.
get why everyone looks into eyes.
If I'm talking to you, I have no problem looking you in the eyes. But if and honestly, I think this is why I get a negative kind of look at work, because when I'm walking around, I don't look at anybody. I don't acknowledge anybody, only because it's like I just don't. I just look. I'm just trying to get to where I'm going. Let me
What
get
are
to
you,
where
a
I'm
New
going.
Yorker?
Yeah, it's like look. You know what's funny about that is when I was living out in Washington, um, it was me and a dude who moved out there from, I think, Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
and we both, when we were walking, like when we would all hang out at one person's house, and then there would be a point where we're like, let's go get some booze, and we'd walk to the liquor store and get booze, and it was always me and this dude, who would always be walking at a really quick pace, and everyone was like, "Why are you guys walking so fast?" And it's like, I don't know, man. you know, it's one of those
Is there
things.
a reason to be walking slow?
Yeah, well, fucking let's get the fuck where we need to go, man. Double step, man. Quick pace.
Yeah, it's just something that I have a couple symptoms. Like I said, eye contact being one of them. So when I'm talking to someone, I typically don't look in their eyes. I can make it look like I'm looking in someone's eyes, and I do that almost constantly, but I'm not actually looking in their eyes. And the further away someone is from me, the further away from their eyes that I'm looking.
Wait,
But
you're not looking in their eyes?
oh no, I never look in people's eyes.
Where are you
I
looking?
very rare, or rather, I very rarely look in someone's eyes. Occasionally, I'll glance someone's eyes, but for the most part, so when I'm talking to you face to face, like during 4th of July, and I'd be looking at you, I'd be looking at the bridge of your nose
Oh yeah, I do that.
because
You know,
that's close enough to the eyes that most people go, oh yeah, they're looking at my eyes. And then if we're like 10 feet away, I'm looking next to your head. I'm not even looking at your head anymore. I'm looking at the empty air next to your head.
You know what? I heard somewhere that somebody who looks directly in your eyes tends to be like somebody who's like lying, I guess, or like being mistrustful or something. I don't understand that, because I always thought it was like
I've
you'd
heard the
want to look.
inverse.
Yeah, I thought you'd want to look into the eyes because, I'm trustworthy, right? I don't know. Um, I like looking into the eyes of people and reading their minds.
Yeah, I've heard the inverse a lot, where it's if you aren't looking at someone's eyes, then that shows that you're dishonest. And cannibalistic
Oh yeah,
wizard,
dishonest.
sometimes I am, but only if they're really nice and I'm far enough away that you don't realize that I'm not looking at your face anymore.
What do you do with somebody who has like a really wide forehead?
Well, like I said, if I'm close enough that they would really be able to tell where my eyes are looking, then I go for the bridge of the nose. That is the go-to for me. If I'm further back, I'm like 10 feet back, most people have trouble telling. They just know that you're looking in their direction, but they can't tell, okay, are
Oh,
you
damn
looking
it.
at my chin? Are you looking next to my head? Are you looking at my collarbones? They just know that you're looking at them. And then the further back you are from that, like when I was in school, if I sat in the back row, I wouldn't look at the teacher's head. I wouldn't even look near the teacher's head. I'd be looking like 3 feet to the right of the teacher as they're lecturing, because that was close enough for them to go, oh yeah, they're looking at me. So he's a spurg. He's special needs. Go fuck yourself.
Hold on. I gotta say, hello, people in the chat.
Yep.
Welcome everybody. And do you have lazy eye? Honestly, that's another thing too, where I don't know if it's the polite thing. I always heard the polite thing to do is to do that, to look in the bridge of the eye, or the bridge of the, between the eyes.
Bridge of the nose.
Or yeah, but I've also heard to look at the good eye. I guess, I don't know. It's one of those. It's one of those weird things where it's like, dude, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I just don't know what the proper protocol is. Yeah.
I've noticed you before. I've commented about the shit that you guys were saying. If you guys want official recognition, hello Assassin, hello Mr. Yes, hello Kokonoe, hello Uzi Q, hello Cryptic, Sir Adamantine,
hold on.
And I think that's everyone since the beginning.
In all fairness, Sanguine, you don't really take a look at chat too often, do you?
I glance over.
Yeah.
And then I decide whether there's anything that should be brought to the attention, or whether it's no. I said Kokonoe as like
hey,
the
you know
third
what?
name that I said.
You don't have to say nothing to
and
that
I
guy.
even say Kokonoe normally.
He knows what he did.
I say it the right way. But yeah, I look at chat, I see if they say anything that's amusing enough to bring attention to, or if they're just chatting with each other, or chiming in a yes or no. And depending on what the additional information in the yes or no is, then I'll bring it up. Or if it's just something amusing, like when Cannibalistic Wizard said he stares at your tits, I brought that up because that kind of made me chuckle in my head. So fuck it. People should be allowed to chuckle as well.
He stares at whose tits?
It was when you asked, wait, you don't look at people's faces? Where do you look?
Oh, the
Cannibalistic Wizard chimed in with, he stares at people's tits.
That's a good place to look.
Yeah, like I said, I won't lie and say that, no, I never look at a nice set. I will just say, I make a very quick determination. Are they a nice set? Are they not a nice set? And am I close enough that I would get caught looking, or am I far enough away I can just
Oh.
enjoy?
No, yeah, dude. I mean, that's usually you're cooking while you're streaming, so.
Ah, yeah, I'll cook, I'll pop in, check out the stream, see what people are saying, continue cooking, pop in again. Like I popped into the kitchen a few moments ago to transition the mushroom broth that I'm making from one pot where I did a pressure cook for a while into another pot so I can do a bit of an evaporative cook. That way I can reduce the flavors a little bit, make it a bit stronger of a taste to the mushroom stock that I'm making. And then after that bubbles away for a little bit, I'll be getting some miso, and I haven't decided whether I should go for red miso or white miso yet, but I'll decide on which miso and mix some of that into the mushroom stock and do a mushroom miso soup.
Ooh, sounds
But
tasty.
while I was doing that, I also would pop my head in, see what people are saying. And God damn it, Assassin's trying to correct with the modern parlance for a nice set of tits by correcting me with
No,
just
fuck!
hitting
Oh, sorry.
organs of birthing bodies for non-aborted fetuses. Which, well, yes, that is probably the most PC way of saying a nice pair. That is not what I'm going to end up saying for the vast majority of time.
A nice pair.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what's wrong with? Well, the parlance of the time, I guess. So.
All I'm going to say is that damn near everyone likes tits. Straight men like
Yes.
tits. Lesbian women like tits. Straight women like tits. Bisexual men and women like tits. I've even heard gay men say that, okay, I'm not into women, but that's a nice set of tits.
Sometimes it's a nice tit.
Yeah. A nice set of boobs are always nice. There's no other way around it.
Yeah, you'd be hard pressed to find somebody who disagrees.
Yeah. Now, they might disagree on what size is a nice tit, but they'll, for the most part, agree that yes, there are some absolutely glorious sets out there. Just some like them smaller, some like them larger. Which is why you have the flat is justice, the medium is premium, and the... I'm trying to remember what the big one is. There's another rhyme for large breasts as well. So everyone's in disagreement about what size is the best. Yes, I am more of a mind with Assassin when it's you need a proper form, and to me, part of proper form is they need to be proportional.
What? Hold on. You're telling me you don't like the nice long hanging ones where the nipples are like
I am not a
sugar
fan
cones at the
of
bottom?
the. I'm not a fan of fried eggs nailed to walls.
Oh shit. Oh man.
I enjoy many other sizes, many other shapes, but to me, the main thing is proportionality. If someone is proportional, so if someone's very slight and they're somewhat flat, that can look really attractive. If someone is more vivacious and they have large breasts, that can look really attractive. If someone's kind of standard and they have medium breasts, that's attractive. It depends on the build. You just need a proper balance.
Balance.
Mm-hmm.
This is very important. Balance on them titties.
That's the true message of the Star Wars films. It's balance is important in all things, especially tits.
Yep.
It just, you need a proper portion, because it's strange when someone has a very vivacious body elsewhere and then just completely flat. And it's also strange when someone has absolutely no curves at all, except their tits take up like half their body.
They're all tits.
Yeah. Both are kind of strange. Both make you go, well, okay, that looks like it hurts your back.
Oh.
Huh.
Oof. Hey, did you see the trailer for She-Hulk?
I did not. I heard a lot about it, though.
It is,
I've heard bad.
yeah, it's something else.
And they're continuing to absolutely destroy both Bruce Banner and Hulk.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. The way they worded it in the trailer, they were talking about how it was like it seemed like, are you serious? It seemed like she went in for a procedure, but I think in the comics she had to get a blood transfusion, and so they used Bruce's blood. I'm fuzzy on it, but what they showed in the trailer, it seems like she was chosen, at least what they're structuring it with, right? She was chosen to be a lawyer for the superheroes, and then she chose to go through a procedure of becoming a Hulk, and then she becomes She-Hulk. I don't know, it's weird, dude, but if it's anything like how they have all the other ones, all the other Disney Plus features, it seems like one of the things that stands out is that they're sitting down and talking. And holy shit, who the fuck wants to watch that shit?
And just systematically destroying all the known and loved characters.
Yeah.
Because that's been the common thread of all the Disney Plus Marvel shit, which is what is infuriating to me. Since, like, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, oh my good fucking god, did you see that train wreck?
I have not watched any of them. Have you? How many of them have you watched?
Just bits and pieces of
Whoa, thunder!
Falcon.
Oh yeah. Like I've seen synopsis of the movie or the shows, so I kind of know the story. I just haven't seen them.
Yeah, I saw synopses of them, and I was going, "There's no way that they're that bad."
Yeah.
And then I watched a couple episodes, and I went, "Okay, they're exactly as bad as I was told." All the
See,
hate that these are getting now makes sense.
yeah, I mean, yeah, even though they sound bad, I still kind of want to see I still kind of want to see them, especially with like Winter Soldier and Falcon. I want to see, but I don't know. I just it is true. It's you know what? Hold on. That brings me nicely to something that I had wanted to talk about at the beginning of this week. Hammer had brought it up. Were you aware of Jordan Peterson's you know what, hold on. Whoa, you I hope that thunder caught. But could you give me a second? I have to use the bathroom. Let me hit the loo and I'll be right back, and then I'll get into my rant.
Yep. But yeah, for those listening along, in order to keep things interesting while he's having a piss, and that conversation's paused, the shit for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, if you have not seen it, my God, was it bad? They tried to make you think that a character was just an absolute asshole, and they failed. They made him seem goddamn amazing as they were trying to make him seem like an asshole. I don't know how you fuck up that badly that you're trying to make everyone hate someone, and you just make them go, dude's actually really quality. And they did it in the dumbest way possible. You know, the Captain America, the first Avengers movie, when the grenade pin is pulled in boot camp and tossed to the feet of everyone training, and Steve Rogers, without any question, without any hesitation, immediately throws himself on the grenade and curls up around it so that everyone else will be safe. They try to use that to make the guy who was named Captain America after Steve seem like an asshole by Bucky asking, well, have you ever thrown yourself on a grenade? And the guy, after being asked, he didn't say this beforehand, it was after being asked, went, well, yes, I actually did. I figured out this one thing where if you put your helmet underneath you just right, then you can cushion yourself and you can actually survive from it. And I've done it a few times to save people. It's never fun, but I've been able to survive it. And they use that as if that's a clear sign that, see, he's an asshole. He's bragging about this. And I'm going, he didn't fucking mention it until you asked him if he had done it. And because he had done it, his response was, yeah, and here's how I survived it. Yes, in the first Avenger, it wasn't a real grenade. It was just a test by the one sergeant to see if Steve Rogers was as noble, as good as everyone was saying as it, and as he thought he was.
Yeah, it was a test.
Yep, and Steve passed it with flying colors. But they tried to use the fact that this guy had done it 3 times on a live grenade, but had figured out a way not to fucking die from it. As if, oh, can you believe this asshole bragging about this? And I'm going, you fucking asked him.
Right?
I mean, it makes bragging if you ask someone, can or have they done something or can they do something, and they go, yes.
Yeah, but that's what they want to do, man.
Mm-hmm.
They're willing to do it. Oh, yeah, the rant. Yes. So, did you know about Jordan Peterson's tweet about Sports Illustrated?
I do not.
Okay. So apparently
Please elucidate.
so apparently Sports Illustrated has an overweight lady as the cover. Not the first. There's
Predictable.
there was one, I think, a year or two ago. Um and he posted something like it's not beautiful or something like that. She's not beautiful. And of course it blows up. And we see a lot of people going out and saying, I don't understand why this is an issue. She's pretty and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, well, the way I see it, it's more of like you're watching another He-Man type thing get destroyed. You're in a spaceship and you're watching a planet get succumbed by a symbiote or something like that. It's like you know what it's doing.
Watching a planet fall to the fat.
Well, it's okay. So, Sports Illustrated as a magazine. This is a magazine about sports, right? So it's about athleticism. You wouldn't see articles in there about sitting on your ass drinking beers and eating potato chips, right? You're reading about sports. The swimsuit issue is I think one, and again, I'm not too familiar with all this stuff, so it's like, but I'll get to it.
The swimsuit issue was a combo of eye candy and also look at the degree to which these people have been able to maintain their fitness.
Well, not only that, but it was a one time a year type of issue. So it was one of those. Oh, fuck. So it was one of those things where it's like, okay, people would look forward to it. And so when they started doing this stuff, it was like, okay, we're seeing the slow demise of it. And I know it's benign, but at the same end, it's like I'm seeing the same thing that we see in other areas where it's like, oh, hey, this is a game developer and they used to make games, but now they're fucking voicing their opinions on abortion. And it's like, what the fuck does that have to do with it making game? Like, what are you doing? And with this, it's like,
are you making abortion simulator? If not, why the fuck are you talking about it?
Well, yeah, and that's where it's like, okay, you're obviously being political, because especially with this, it's like Sports Illustrated, so we're talking about athleticism, and then the swimsuit edition, so we're talking about attractive females in bikinis. Why would we have that? That's where it's like, okay, I see where their disconnect is, or the dissent is. It's like that's not what the magazine was for, It's
and
that's
if
like,
you're going to have the fat woman in the swimsuit issue, then at the very least you would have to connect it to sports somehow. So if you have the large woman,
what's she doing
in the swimsuit issue, she
hot dog
better fucking be a sumo wrestler or a competitive weightlifter.
Yo, yeah. See, that honestly, I would say there you go. that I fucking got knocked out. I could see that as being something that could work out. But again, it's not but that's not the point that they're trying to push. The point that they're trying to push is Tess Holiday should be on the Sports Illustrated fucking thing. It's like, and you'll get the thing that I can't stand is you'll get the people who are on the outside just sitting there like, well, why does it matter? The magazine's going under anyways. Nobody's really watching it or anything. And I'm, like I said, I'm in the
people probably
spaceship.
still
Well, hold
would.
on, hold on. I'm in the spaceship. I'm watching this planet getting destroyed, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, I've seen so many other planets do this, and I'm seeing all the same people sitting there saying, you know what? Well, it's not my shit, so why the fuck do I care? Why should you care? It's fucking going out of business. It's like, dude,
I have to correct something that Assassin just said, because he said no weightlifter is flabby.
some of them are.
When you're
Some are.
dealing with the ultra competitive
Yeah.
power lifters, not a single one, or I won't go that far. It would be extremely strange. I'll phrase it that way. It would be extremely strange if you were able to find one that didn't have a keg rather than a six-pack.
Yeah, there's evidence. There's evidence to prove it.
Yeah, when it comes to powerlifting, you kind of default to much larger.
Holy shit. You know what? Dude, honestly, that would be an even more fucking message boosting. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, if there were actual fucking power lifters and not just, it's like, because
Yeah.
I don't know, because again, I didn't, I just remember, when working at some jobs where, they were like, oh, hey, did you see the new Sports Illustrated? There were people who fucking look at these magazines and shit and look forward to seeing them. So I swear they had some female athletes in their skivvies or bikinis or whatever the fuck.
Yep.
So again, yeah, you see a power lifter in a bikini, and I would say that would be an even more positive fucking image of like, yeah, dude, you can fucking be a power lifter. You're not She-Hulk looking, but you're you're in your bikini and you're showing it off. Sports Illustrated swimsuit issue. Bam, there you go. Instead, it's Tess Holiday and shit. It's like, well, that's not. What the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, what you do is, like I said, if you want to have a larger woman in the swimsuit, one moment, need to quickly call.
No. Oh, real quick. And the thing that also hampers it is I saw Adam and Stitch talking about it, and they pretty much drummed it up to, well, would you do her? And it's like, well, that has nothing to do with it, because that's not the point of it. It wasn't a
somewhat. When it comes to the swimsuit issue, the swimsuit issue has always been a combination of fitness as well as titillation.
Yes, but if you're talking purely on, well, would you just spank to it? Well, awesome. There's magazines for that. Go do there's avenues for that. This in particular was about sports and fitness and going into that. It'd be like having a men's world and then having a fucking dad bod dude on there and being like, yeah, that's healthy. It's not.
Having a non-powerlifting dad bod.
Yeah. It'd be
Like I said, the way that you would do it, if you want to have a larger model and you want it to make sense for Sports Illustrated, have it be a power lifter, have it be a sumo wrestler, have it be a women's hockey player. There's a bunch of options for sports that kind of either mandatorily select for larger builds or just happen to select for larger builds.
Yeah.
Go for one of them, then at least you're still having it be related to sports. And what you do is you mix them in with all of the people that are just there for titillation. Just like they do every other time in the past when they had a sports star in the swimsuit issue. It would be sports star, then other attractive women, and some of the sports stars, because they did a number of MMA fighters. And some MMA fighters get depending on your opinion, I personally find the hard body kind of attractive. But if you aren't for the hard bodied look, those aren't really attractive. But then there's a bunch of others that were like beach volleyball players and shit like that you're going, okay, that's nice. Mix them in to the selection. You get your larger person by having them actually be involved in sports without having it be someone who isn't attractive and isn't involved in sports. Because Tess Holiday doesn't do a fucking thing in either.
I mean, like I said, for me, it's not even whether or not this person is attractive or any of that. It's more about I'm seeing the reason why they're doing this, and it's to me that's more alarming. But again, at the same end, what the only other real recourse we have against this is starting our own shit, you know. And hey, that they're giving us a market. We start our own stuff. We have a market given to us because they're alienating a lot of customers with this shit. I mean, not to say that I'm gonna, pose in a bikini for a swimsuit edition magazine anytime soon, but
you prefer the one piece rather than bikini?
Yeah. Okay. It's a bit more flattering. But that's what I mean. Like that's where we're gonna be. Ultimately, that's where we're gonna have to be at. We're gonna have to start our own, and that should be a good thing. Hey, if you're creative, you can work on some.
The problem is it relates back to what we were saying earlier, where it isn't the execs that are getting captured by ideology. It's that upper middle management class. It's the HR department. So if you want to create a new company that doesn't end up just becoming a new old company, you have to set out with the intent of hiring HR people that are not captured by the ideology. Because that's the problem. The moment that your HR department, the moment that the people in charge of hiring and firing are trapped by ideology, doesn't matter how base, how red pill, however, whatever the fuck you want to call everyone else in the company is, your company's going to, by degree, change. And it's going to change into the same shit that all the other companies are. Because what's going to happen is it's going to be that your company starts off with a really good message. Hell, look at old school Google. Do you remember the old Google motto?
Don't do evil or some shit?
Don't be evil. That's not a bad message by any stretch of the imagination. What happened is that their people in charge of hiring and firing got captured by ideology, and the people that were higher up listened to the people that got captured by ideology going, yeah, this person was hired as my advisor. Am I going to not listen to the person that is hired as an advisor? That seems fucking stupid. And what happened is, by degree, they went from don't be evil to how evil can we be?
We're seeing it firsthand.
Which, let's be honest, that is exactly what happened with Google. They went from don't be evil to how evil can we be? And it's just infuriating because it's something that unless you are able to capture that hiring, firing, that middle managerial class, it's always going to be the same. Because even if you start a company that is doing things the right way and they just care about the money, if you hire the same middle managers, if you hire the same HR department as everyone else, your company is ultimately going to look like everyone else.
Well, that's the thing. If you are starting your own company, you have to be mindful of that. When you hire when you're looking for an HR person and they start, singing Mary Poppins and shit, yeah, you say, no, thank you. Mm-hmm. You move along,
But the thing is, you've heard the phrase that for good to triumph, it needs to win every time. For evil to triumph, it needs to win once.
Yep.
And that's the thing. That's what happened with a lot of these companies. Because when you look at the first generation of the company, to reference a book that I've referenced many times before, the Foundation series talks about this, where the first generation of any endeavor starts off and they're the makers, they're the expanders, they're the ones that actually do the vast majority of all the work that ever gets done. Then your next generation comes in, and they're the maintainers. And they do a good job at maintaining things. They'll grow a little bit, but the rate that they grow will never be like that first generation. It will never be anything near that first generation. But they'll still grow a bit. And then you end up in the third generation, the squander.
Squander.
And you see this when you're looking at wealthy families in the United States. You've heard the stat before that 64% of all wealthy families are poorer than they started by the third generation.
Damn.
So you'll have.
So, well, when would they have been? When would those family lines have started then? Like the 1800s?
No, so you will have. Let's look at Elon Musk. If he follows the standard form, you have Elon Musk, who is ridiculously wealthy right now.
Damn.
His children will also be ridiculously wealthy, but they won't grow their wealth by anything near what Elon has managed. His third generation, so his grandchildren, more likely than not, in the United States, will end up poorer than Elon ever started. Because they won't grow. In fact, they'll do the exact opposite.
They'll just use.
They'll piss that money away. Because they've never known what it's like to be poor. Nor did their parents ever know what it was like to be poor. You have to go back to their grandparents before anyone knew what being less than filthy, stinking rich was. So they just think that it's the natural state of things, and they'll piss it away. That's where you have the Biden family is an example of this. Because
whoa, I don't know if we're allowed to talk about that, sir.
You have Joe Biden, who gained money. You have his children, who they're already starting to try to piss it away, but they're maintaining it, give or take. But that's mainly they're maintaining it with Joe Biden going, "You're going to fucking maintain this shit." Even so, you have Hunter doing all the shit Hunter's doing. You have his other children doing the shit that they did. The only one that might have been worth a damn was the one that died, unfortunately. So you have these situations that constantly pop up. And I think the stat is that by the second generation, it's something like 20 to 30% of rich families are poorer than they started. By the third, it's up to 65 plus, and I think it's by the fourth, that's when they get up to the 90-something%. And it's families that survive past that fourth generation as wealthy. They tend to just be able to maintain their wealth because they've established their family in such a way that they stay maintainers for the most part. So an example of that would be the ridiculously old moneyed families that we think of now, the Rockefellers and their ilk.
Yeah. Oh.
And that's also one of the things that I think probably skews things when you look at the English stats.
What do you mean?
Because a lot of rich people in England are from families that have been rich for centuries. And I think it's just that we're looking at the end result of that. If your family is able to maintain their wealth for 4 generations, the chance that your family will continue that wealth into the future is massively in your favor. So England, a large chunk of the families that are rich, having been rich for hundreds of years, makes perfect sense because they were rich through the 4th generation and they've just continued being rich.
How did we get... Okay. Sorry. How did we get into the conversation of generational...
Do you want the full briefing on how we got through it, or is there a specific point that you want me to start at? Because a full briefing would effectively be going back to the start of the stream.
Yeah, no. So, I mean, we've did so far. That's where it's like...
But the most recent thing that we were talking about that caused the talk of generational was the ideological capture of the HR department / hiring firing department.
Oh, yes.
And how you would need to be able to maintain, and I drew a connection between that and the generational wealth. Because I think you'll find a very similar sort of play out that if you're able to maintain a freedom of ideological control into the 4th generation for a company, then you'll probably see that that company is less likely to fall into it. But you can start a company, have it be brand new, and the 1st generation won't fall to the ideology. The 2nd generation, a fair number of the companies will fall to the ideology. By the 3rd generation, the vast majority of the companies have fallen. By the 4th, nearly all of them have fallen. And then all the companies that survive the 4th generation, they're able to maintain freedom.
So, essentially, like Disney right now, where this generation is, I think, wasn't the recent...
It was the 3rd.
Is it the 3rd? Was it Walt's? And not Walt's, his brother's...
Because it started with Walt. So Walt was 1st generation. Then it went to his brother.
Yeah.
That was 2nd generational ownership. And through most of 2nd generational ownership, it was able to maintain what it did, but it started to lose a bit of the heart of the 1st generation, which is what a lot of people were blaming Disney, or a lot of people were chastising Disney for, where Disney felt like it really had a heart to it when it was back in Walt's day. And then it just started cranking out the Disney movie. And then we got into the third generation, and that's when we really started to see Disney's no longer Disney.
Yeah. Well, hold on. Was that during the Golden Revival or whatever with Little Mermaid and
I thought that was the second generation that had that, where they started to falter, then they had that resurgence. Shit went well, and then it was after Walt's brother stepped down.
Oh yeah,
Walt's brother stepped down in the late 90s, early thousands, or 2000s rather, and that's when we started to see the slide.
And then here we are now.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't that wonderful? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
death to the mouse. Death to the mouth. I'm fucking lisping all day today.
But yeah, I think that I haven't heard anyone else phrase it this way, so that might be an entirely sanguine connection between those ideas, but I think it might actually bear out.
We're gonna pause and say a shout out to our sponsor, Pineapple Yarritos.
I was really expecting you to say Raid Shadow Legends.
Oh no, that's Sunday.
Okay.
Don't worry, I got a whole lineup for that. We'll see how that works out. Yeah. No, this Yarritos pineapple is pretty good. It doesn't quite taste like pineapples, but it's close enough.
Meanwhile, I'm drinking some Toke, or let's see, is it Tozai? Yes, Tozai Junmai Sake, Sapporo, and Akashi Ume.
Oh.
Which is a Japanese plum flavored whiskey. And I'm eating that with my deep fried salmon that I made, which turned out rather lovely.
Nice. Are you fucking kidding me?
Probably gone a little bit hotter with the oil, so it would have had a quicker fry, and thus a less cooked inside. But as it is, I got like a medium rare salmon, which is rather nice.
Oh, man.
But if I dialed it up to about 400 degree fry, I'm willing to bet I could have gotten a rare salmon in the center. Which rare sashimi grade salmon? Ooh, good fucking god, that's amazing.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm. But this is still nice and juicy.
Ooh,
just about to the point where it's flaking, but not flaking yet. And still nice and pink in the center.
What kind of whiskey are you drinking?
The whiskey is Akashi Ume.
Akashi Ume.
Yep. It's from Igashima. It is the Igashima Akashi Ume, which is apparently actually produced and bottled in Japan.
Nice.
Yep, this one was bottled in...
Straight import?
Yep. It was bottled in Nishijima, Akashi, Hyogo, Japan. I probably butchered a solid 50% of that, but I sounded like it was correct.
Nah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, man.
It's one of those things. If you can do it nonchalantly, fewer people are willing to call you out for it.
Come on. You know, I think if you're hanging out with a group of people and somebody says, "Well, actually, it's pronounced," it's like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Come on. Some class.
Like I said, I think that's more prone to happen if you sound like you're unsure of it. Whereas if you say it with any sort of fluidity, people are less likely to correct you.
Well, because I look at it like this: like, if I understood what you were conveying with it, even though again, it's like you didn't spell the word right. You know, like I still understood what the word meant, but you didn't spell it right. But I'm not going to sit there and chastise you for it because, you know, like I'm not trying to sit there and, hey, let me smack your hand with this ruler to fucking learn you a lesson on how to properly. It's like, dude, I
But
understood
what if I
this.
habitually misspell it? You'd be informing me that way, correcting that habitual misspelling, making me seem more intelligent to other people, rather
Hey,
than just
that's
allowing me to seem like an idiot.
well, personally, that's on you to figure out. I'm just, hey, oh, I acknowledge what you're saying. All right, you know, I don't want to. I don't want to be the person sitting there. Hey, you should do it this way. Yeah, well, you'll figure it out. Like I said, I
I
like
think
the.
I just stroked out reading what Assassin of the Grave just
Oh,
typed as Hermione's name.
Himi Mermi.
He yes, that's what he typed out as Hermione.
Who is he talking about?
Hermione Granger from Harry Potter.
Where does she come from?
When we were talking about pronunciation, it's
Oh,
Leviosa, not Levioso.
oh. Is that a thing of contention?
In
Hermione?
the first Harry Potter book, there's Ron and Harry were trying to get the levitation spell down correctly, but they were saying the incantation incorrectly. So rather than getting the feather floating as they desired, they were getting erratic results. And the thing that Hermione pointed out was that they were saying the incantation incorrectly, therefore getting the wrong result. Whereas if they had said it correctly, then they just get the floating feather. And then Cannibalistic Wizard is adding in Benedict Cumberbatch, or Cucumberbatch, or Patch, not Batch.
Is that another Harry Potter character?
No, that's Benedict Cumberbatch, which Assassin of the Grey is responding with Benny Dick Cummerbund.
What is he doing? Is he summoning people?
Benedict
you need to cease and
Cumberbatch is
desist,
an
sir.
actor. And he's an actor that everyone gets the name off on, so there's a bunch of different running jokes. Like, so his name is Benedict Cumberbatch. So I've heard Benedict Comeback, Benedict Cumberbatch, Benedict Cumberbund, Benedict, all kinds of different versions of his name. Joni Shallow. Everyone's just popping in names misspelled for other people. Robot Downey Jr. versus Robert Downey Jr. The Neo Geo.
Oh yeah.
So which fighter are you going to go for? Oh, King of Monsters. I was thinking a different game.
An oldie but a goodie.
Yep. I was kind of hoping for the bitch slapping sumo wrestler.
Which one is that?
Isn't was it Shaolin Warrior? No, it's not Shaolin Warrior. It's what is the name of it? Is it Shaolin Fighter? Let me quickly look it up.
Yeah.
Because there's an old school SNES game. Where
Was that on the SNES?
I want to say it was SNES. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I know it was one of the early game systems, but it might have been Sega. Let me check. Because I remember the pictures, or I remember the characters from it. I just don't remember the fucking game's name. Let's see, fighting games. I want to say it came out in the 90s. Because I remember the sumo wrestler. I remember the ninjas from it.
Ah, damn it. Trying to turn down the video game. Ah, shit. What the hell? Okay.
I'm just trying to remember. Oh, it was probably Samurai Showdown that I'm thinking.
Oh, Samurai Showdown? Yeah, I think I got that.
Let me see if that's the one that I was thinking of. That's probably the one I was thinking of, though.
But you were talking about a monster in it?
No, I was talking about the sumo wrestler.
Oh, the sumo wrestler.
Because I'm almost positive there's a fat bastard like sumo wrestler from that one.
I know there's E Honda in Street Fighter. Right?
Yeah, it wasn't E Honda that I was thinking of, though. Because I remember everyone else in the game having weapons. Which is why I'm thinking it might be Samurai Showdown.
Oh, yeah, I think he has like that weapon where it's like a chain. I think.
Oh, the Kurosagama?
Yeah, where like a hook at the end.
Yep. Where it has a weight at one side, a chain, and then a comma.
Yeah. Is that him?
I think so. I think that's the character that I'm trying to remember. But I'm trying to find the actual art for him so I can see if it is the game that I'm thinking. Yes, it is Earthquake that I was thinking.
What game? What fighting game is he in?
Samurai Showdown. I'm pulling it up. I'm almost positive. Yep, it was Earthquake. That is the game I was thinking.
Hold on.
He was in Samurai Showdown #1, and then he was dropped after #2.
Was he in any other Samurai Showdown?
I think it was just in 1 and 2. I'm checking. So he was in 1 and 2. Then he ended up being a minor villain in Shinsetsu Samurai Spirits Bushido Retsuden. He was in Samurai Showdown 6. He was in SNK vs. Capcom, SVC Chaos, Quiz King Fighter. What the fuck is Quiz King Fighters? And then Samurai Showdown 2019.
Oh, damn. I was going to say, because I got 3, 4, and 5. I remember, but I keep thinking of this giant in 5, so I don't. It's not the same character. But I do recall that guy only because of the weapon.
Yep. And yeah, he wasn't in any of those, except he was in cutscenes or the ending scenes for some of those. Like he was in 4 for Genjiro's ending. He was in 5 for Gyra's ending. But he was in them early on, he got pulled from them, and then he returned to them. Okay, I am very confused by the... Oh, yeah, that's right. They had a move that turned them into their opposite gender. Okay, never mind. That makes sense again.
Wait, they what?
There was a special cutscene that you could do, or a special finisher thing that could be done, if I remember correctly. That... Oh, no, this is from a different... This is... What the fuck? So I'm going down a rabbit hole with Earthquake now.
Oh, no.
There's an Earthquake that is a sprite for a fairly shapely bald woman. Whereas his normal version is a morbidly obese man with either a Kurosagama or a chain club. No, that is actually still a Kurosagama, just the blade wasn't obvious for a second there. But yeah, there's one of them that is a fairly shapely woman in his same clothing. Which is apparently from SNK versus Capcom, SVC Chaos. So there's something in there that will occasionally get him to display as a shapely woman.
Oh, man. They're woman? Ugh. That's horrible.
There's also another one that makes him appear as a pig in that game. So,
as a pig?
Yeah. In that game, there's one that makes him appear. It's Midnight Bliss that makes him appear as a woman. It's Makai's spell that makes him appear as this massive demon thing. And then it's Heaven's spell that makes him appear as a pig. I don't know why Midnight Bliss's spell makes him go from morbidly obese giant of a man to shapely woman, but it does.
That's kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just slightly. I mean, okay, a little bit more than slightly.
It's something that you just have to chalk up to. It's Japan.
Well, yeah.
Which is always the best answer for, why is this game like this? It's Japan. Oh, okay.
No. Hey, everybody dances to the beat of their own drum, right?
And some people, it's a taiko drum. But yes, it is nearly the time for our stream to end. We're about 4 minutes out from the 2-hour mark.
Oh, shit.
So, is there any topic that you're dying to get off your chest after our meandering conversation thus far? Or shall we go into parting words?
Well, let me think about it. I was going to say about Monkey getting his streams blocked, but apparently they put him back up. So
Yeah, they got yeeted and then brought back up. And last night's show got yeeted and then brought back up for us.
Did it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit.
And we had Drunken Uncle on at the very end of that.
Nice.
He was absolutely wasted. It was funny, but absolutely toast.
That's good.
It was like 6 a.m. at his time when he jumped on. And he had been drinking since well before.
Good Lord.
But yeah, ours is back up as well, according to Hannah.
Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm. And I think, has the trial finished between Johnny and Amber, or is it still ongoing? Because I know that they went on hiatus for a while.
I don't know. I haven't really been paying attention to that. I mean, I watched a few bits on it. Hold on.
Let me quickly pull it up and see.
I watched a bit about it at the start of the trial, but after that, I really wasn't paying attention, like, because I don't really, I really don't care about that. But last I heard, she really wasn't looking good in terms of presenting herself in the case.
Oh no, she got absolutely battered in the case. It was the only domestic from Johnny to her that has actually been proved. In the case, he beat the shit out of her. In actuality, she beat the shit out of him. I think last I heard he was winning, and yesterday were the closing arguments, right?
I think so.
And I think he won. I'm not 100% sure. Quickly seeing if I can confirm that. But I think he probably won. Oh, no. Okay, so the trial was supposed to end yesterday, but was supposed to end the 19th, was extended, so the new end date is apparently the 27th.
Oh.
Because there's more testimony coming out on the 23rd. I just looked it up, so looks like it is on hiatus for a moment, and then it's going to be coming back and finishing up by the 27th.
Kind of weird that they did that.
Yeah, this is the second hiatus that it's been on, because it went on a hiatus before, came back for like 3-4 days, and now it's going on a hiatus again for a couple days, and then coming back. Oh yeah, I've heard a lot of people are checking out Johnny Depp's lawyer as well.
Why?
So,
What happened? What did he do?
well, she's attractive.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people are drooling over Johnny Depp's lawyer, so that's going on. And yes, Drunkle did absolutely love the rifle.
Weren't they? Wasn't there something about like a doctor or psychiatrist or something like that?
So there have been, I think, 2 or 3 of them that have come in.
No, but who was attractive?
Oh, in that case, I'm not 100% sure. There might very well have been. I'm not sure which one, though. I've only been keeping kind of obliquely up to date.
Yeah. I'm not. Like I said, I'm surprised this is getting as much attention as it is, to be honest. But
I'm not that surprised, because it's a obvious cultural circus. It just sucks that it's someone's life that is in the balance of this circus. And yeah, we were talking about the Mindy Kaling Velma shit early on in the show Assassin. Which, if you're going to make a new character, just make a new fucking character. If you want to have that character be Velma-like, have them be inspired by Velma, and make your new fucking character. Stop stealing shit from franchises that you had absolutely fuck all to do with, and then trying to ruin them.
well, come on, man. I mean, you can't have a prominent brown character look up to a old white character. Like this doesn't work.
Yes, you absolutely can. Because you see, most people aren't fucking racist. And they can look at someone and go, I admire this person. They don't have to go, well, I would admire this person, but they have a different skin color.
I mean, that's just so odd to me,
Yeah.
Like, especially if I were to feed into the whole, okay, they're willing to drive the company to the ground. They don't care about profits. They just want to push this belief system. It's like, okay, but couldn't you have done it more, I guess, sneakily?
Or just more honestly. Either do it better, more sneakily, or do it
better.
honestly.
Like, how are you this bad at it's like,
yeah.
It's holy shit. That's the thing that gets me funny is like, okay, hold on. Yeah, I'm supposed to believe, that these people are doing, but it's that bad.
Yep.
I don't know.
Just as I was saying earlier in the stream, if you want to make a new character, fantastic. Make a new character. Have it have nothing to do with the previous material. Because I have never heard someone get pissed off at one series because the main character from this series is nothing like the main character from this unrelated series. No one gets pissed off at that. People might compare them if they're similar enough and say, well, I think this one was executed better, but no one's going to say, you know what the problem with Percy Jackson was? Percy Jackson was nothing like Harry Potter. Yeah, because Percy Jackson isn't Harry Potter. What? How the fuck would that make sense as a critique? No one looks at Star Wars versus Star Trek and goes, you know what was really the problem with Picard? Picard was nothing like Han Solo. Yeah, they're two entirely fucking different characters. Why the hell would he be like Han Solo? Whereas if you say that someone is the same as, or it's in the same series, then absolutely people are going to compare. You want to have a Han Solo prequel, and the person that you have playing Han Solo is nothing like Han Solo? Absolutely everyone's going to go, who the fuck is this? This isn't Han Solo. This is nothing like Han Solo. This doesn't even end with someone being like Han Solo. Who the fuck is this? And they'll be pissed off about it. If you say that, oh, this is another Star Wars story, and it becomes very obvious that, oh, this character is supposed to be the new Han Solo. He sucks. People are going to make that comparison, and they're going to say that it sucks. But like I said, people are not going to look at someone from Star Trek and go, this Star Trek character sucks because they aren't like this Star Wars character. They're two different franchises. These things keep on crippling themselves by trying to summon up an audience of a previous franchise, of a previous property, and then they immediately start pissing all over everything that fan base liked. And it just fucks them over. Because it wouldn't have been a good movie regardless, but the amount of hate that Ghostbusters 2016 got, if it hadn't have been a Ghostbusters movie, would have been much less. If it wasn't trying to be a Ghostbusters, if it wasn't trying to be part of that franchise, everyone would have just gone, oh yeah, that was a bad movie. Moving on. But because it was them saying, oh, we're making the new Ghostbusters. This is Ghostbusters. And everyone watched it and went, this isn't fucking Ghostbusters. This is just horse shit. It pissed everyone off. Just make your own shit. Don't try to lean on a previous franchise. And if you're going to make something from a previous franchise, make it fit in the fucking franchise, you numpties.
Yeah, at least try and keep as close to canon as possible.
Yeah. But they'll try to abuse the canon and change everything and then go, but it's part of this series. No, it fucking isn't. And it pisses everyone off that you're trying to say that it is, because it isn't.
Yeah, it's even worse when they try and sell it off like in terms of superheroes, and it's like, oh yeah, it's just a mantle, so It doesn't matter. And it's like, oh.
Yeah, Thor is just a mantle. The fucker's name is Thor Odinson. How
Oh, wait,
fuck
you mean Thor,
saying...
son of Odin?
Yeah, Thor Odinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
It's his actual fucking name, because he's Thor. Well, who's Thor? Well, his surname is Odinson. Oh, is he the son of Odin? Yes. So that means that Odin's name is actually Odin, and Thor's name is actually Thor. Because if they weren't Thor, son of Odin, Thor Odinson, then it would have been like, oh, so what's his name? Ragnar. He also goes by Thor. And then no one would have been pissed, because it's Thor's his title, Ragnar's his actual name. Makes sense. But saying, yeah, this is Thor. This is also Thor. And this is the new Thor. Well, what happened to old Thor? He retired. But Thor was his name. No, Thor's a title. It was his name. He's Thor Odinson. What the fuck do you mean it was a title? If it's their name, it's one thing to say, like, a series that did it really well, where they had something that was actually a title. It was actually something other than the person's fucking name that was then transferred to another character and was done really well. You remember Batman Beyond, right?
I've seen a bunch of episodes, but I can't really say that I'm knowledgeable on the series.
But you're at least familiar with it.
Yes. Oh, of course.
So you know that the new Batman in Batman Beyond was called Batman, right?
Yep.
Because he was taking on the role of Batman, where he wasn't taking on the role of Bruce Wayne. He wasn't being called Bruce Wayne. He was Batman, because Batman was this other face, not Bruce Wayne. You can do it with shit like that. You could have someone become Captain America that is not Steve Rogers. What you need to do is you have to have them actually earn being Batman, or earn being Captain America, rather. You have to actually have them qualify for that. So if you're having someone become Captain America, they better piss red, white, and blue. They have to be American down to their goddamn boots, and they have to be good and noble and just, and then, yeah, you could have someone take on the mantle of Captain America. They won't be Steve Rogers, they'll be Captain America.
Yep.
You can have someone become the Green Lantern, is a really good example of this, because how many fucking Green Lanterns have there been?
And a lot of their stories have been written very well, too.
Yeah. As long as they meet the requirements of Green Lantern, which are, they need to have the Green Lantern ring in order to be Green Lantern, and they have to be extremely strong-willed. Doesn't matter anything else. They can be black, they can be white, they can be Asian, they can be a midget, they can be a giant. Doesn't fucking matter. What matters is that they're extremely strong-willed and that they have the Green Lantern ring. If they're missing either of those, they aren't the fucking Green Lantern. But because you can have either of those, you have Hal Jordan. Everyone fucking loves Hal Jordan. You have all the other Green Lanterns, and every Green Lantern has fans of that Green Lantern, effectively, because all of them are strong-willed, creative, and they have the Green Lantern ring. It just drives me crazy that they keep on trying to replace people, not the personas, but the people. And they do it in the most ham-fisted way. I still laugh my fucking ass off. Yeah, the Black Green Lantern from the animated shows was amazing. And I still laugh my fucking ass off at the fact that they tried to make a diverse Iron Man. And the way that they made a diverse Iron Man is, well, she's a black woman. Okay, so how did she get her Iron Man shit? Tony Stark made his when he was captured and being tortured. So did she have something cool like that? Did she get captured and make this suit of her own design? And it's just something very similar to Iron Man. So people started saying, "Oh, this is the new Iron Man." No, she stole the suit. You made a black character steal their super suit? Are you fucking kidding me? Did Richard Spencer write this? Because seriously, I could not think of a more racist caricature of how you get a black superhero than they stole the thing that gave them superpowers.
I've been seeing recently the whole America Chavez, her superpower is as a Hispanic breaking into multi-dimensional barriers illegal.
She's a multi-dimensional border jumper.
I don't know if this shit is intentional or if it's on these people's mind when they fucking work this in. And
like I said, they write shit that is so racist that I'm going, okay, which editor of the Daily Stormer is on staff?
yeah, well, that's the other thing too. Is it has to go up through the editor, and well, I guess if the editor is part of the group.
It's like the thing that I keep on bringing up as the most racist thing I have ever seen is from the Smithsonian African American History Museum. Do you remember their thing about what whiteness is?
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty much every positive characteristic in a person. That's whiteness. Again, which editor of the Daily Stormer is on your staff, Smithsonian? Because holy shit, that was racist. There are actual fucking neo-Nazis that are going, geez, tone it down a little bit from this type of shit. Stop having it be that your black character stole their superpower. Stop having it be that your Hispanic superhero's power is interdimensional border jumping. Stop having it so... they're 2 seconds away from having an Asian superhero whose powers are they can do math really quickly and they suck at driving. If you want to have a well-done character, there's a series that I've talked about many times because it has one of the best, or two of the best, gay characters in anything that I can name off the top of my head. It's the Black Magician's Apprentice and the secondary series, the Traitor Queen trilogy. So, Adam, in the Black Magician's Apprentice, it sets up this amazing world that they go into a fair bit of detail about, where there's the Academy, and the Academy is this school of effectively wizards and sorcerers and shit like that. It's set during kind of like a late Middle Ages time frame, so there's noble families, and noble families will often send their scions to this school in order to train. So at the very least, they'll be able to know about how magic is used, and if they have any talent, they'll actually become magicians. But beyond that, this academy also teaches standard shit. So they send their children there to be educated and to learn about magic and learn magic if they're capable. One of the characters in this series is this scion of a wealthy family that was sent there to learn, to gain these abilities, because if you know how to do magic, it actually really benefits you socially, not just with, yeah, you can do fucking magic, and magic is fucking awesome. but it had other social benefits. So he's meant to be the heir of his family. He learns magic, he rises through the ranks, and at some point, there's this vicious rumor spread around that he's gay. This makes sense in the story, right? Because we've already established it's kind of late Middle Ages, that it's noble families. He's the heir of a noble family. So people going, oh my god, he's gay. That would actually damage his reputation at that time frame, right?
Yep.
And this story shows it being damaging. And it also shows him try to deny that he's gay for a large part of the story. But then you keep on following with the character and you find out all the things that he's doing, and he's really intelligent. He ends up being raised as one of the masters at the school, as well as he becomes an ambassador for the university, for the academy. And he's sent out to deal with other nations, and he starts doing all that, and he's very charming, very charismatic, starts doing an amazing job at that. And then you find out that it wasn't just a rumor, but you find out organically. And this makes the character interesting, because this character isn't just someone who's gay, and that's the point of this character. No, this character is ridiculously charming. He's a natural ambassador. He's intelligent. He's able to solve problems. He's a fucking character. He's a character that happens to be gay in the world. It makes it amazing. It is very well done. And it beats the shit out of most gay characters and things. Because most gay characters aren't characters that happen to be gay. They're characters that their single defining feature is that they like to suck dick.
Yeah, I think Hollywood has a lot of exaggeration problems. So
yeah. But the thing is that, unfortunately, it isn't as much of an exaggeration as it should be. It should be a ridiculous exaggeration that you have the gay man whose sole defining characteristic is he likes to suck dick. But I've met those gay men in the wild. I've met the people that their sole defining characteristic is that they are gay. And it is baffling to me. Because I sure shit don't know how I would even try to make my sole defining feature that I'm heterosexual.
yeah, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, but for some reason, we have all these people that think that having their sole characteristic being that they're gay is perfectly normal. No, it isn't. Stop trying to make what bits you like to mash your bits into the most interesting part of your personality. It shouldn't fucking matter. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people got pissed off at J.K. Rowling for, oh, she has a bunch of gay characters that she never showed were gay in the work, but then she said were gay afterwards. Oh, look at her. She's so special. I'm sorry. If Dumbledore was gay, Dumbledore is one of the best gay characters from anything. Because the thing is that Dumbledore being gay wouldn't have had a single fucking effect on the world as it was seen by Harry Potter. So Harry Potter, not knowing that Dumbledore was gay, makes perfect fucking sense. I don't know how many of my teachers I could even say the first name of, let alone what they like to fuck.
Good God, man.
It just pisses me off. Because it happens time and again. They'll have a black character that their sole defining characteristic is that they're black. Fuck you. Make your black characters defining characteristic something that's actually a characteristic. Make your gay characters something that their chief characteristic something that's actually a characteristic. Make all of your fucking characters actually have characters. Don't just go, well, this is the lesbian character. That's done.
She's really going to be into lumberjack.
Yeah, what the fuck does it mean that she's the lesbian character? Well, she likes women. I get that. That's the definition of lesbian.
But what about the character?
How the fuck does that tell me a single goddamn thing about the character? And this is the thing that pisses me off, because the people that keep on saying, well, we're against stereotypes. We're against you assuming things when someone tells you that they're black or that they're gay. Okay, so can you tell me about yourself? Well, I'm a black, gay woman that is questioning whether or not I might actually be a black straight man, but I'm either a black gay woman or a black straight man. How the fuck is that you telling me about yourself? That tells me nothing. I don't know what you're interested in there, unless you want me to actually go for the stereotype, and then you'd be pissed off that I'm stereotyping you, but the only things that you told me were things that don't actually mean a fucking thing about you. If you asked me, well, Sanguine, tell me about yourself, I'd start talking about the things that I'm interested in. I'd start talking about my job. I'd start talking about what I like to do. Because that type of shit actually does tell you about me. But these people just, well, this is my skin color. This is what I like to mash my bits against. Fuck you! Just seriously, go fuck yourself. Because that doesn't tell me a single goddamn thing about you. And it confuses everyone who realizes that that doesn't tell you a single thing about you. Because they're going, no, I meant like, what are you interested in? Because if you go to a bar in middle America and you ask someone, tell me about yourself, and they actually respond, and they don't just go, what, are you trying to hit on me? But they actually sit down and talk to you. They'll probably start talking about their job, their hobbies, and whether or not they have a family. Because that's shit that actually tells you about them. That shit pisses me off to no end. It is completely empty bullshit. But now it is a half hour after the 2-hour mark.
Oh, shit.
So, do you want to give parting words, or do you feel like having a ramble for a little bit longer?
No, I'm good with parting words. If you're down, I mean, unless you want to ramble some more.
I'm game for parting words. I've had a couple of rants this show, and I got to put forward a theory that might very well be my own theory, which is the third generation line when it comes to American wealthy might be the same when it comes to American companies.
Well, we shall study this theory closer.
Oh, yeah, I'm interested in actually looking into it. So, what do you want your parting words for this evening to be?
Well, I mean, just, I guess the usual, thanks for letting me hang out with you for a Friday.
Always fun.
And, if we had a panel, but panel and the chat,
we have a panel of one other person.
I love y'all and God bless. Have a good night.
I talk enough shit. I probably count as a panel by myself now. But always fun having you, man. And I'll leave off with my standard of if you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you. And with that, have a good night, all. The zoo is closed.
Night.
There we go. And let's click this, and it'll take a bit of time. So